Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 27 of our renovation and outdoor living show. July the 7th here. Good to see you. I hope you're enjoying the school holidays if you're in Australia or New Zealand. Change of venue for me this afternoon because I took off to our holiday place on a beautiful lake in central North Island. And so I was going to be today lazing in the sun by the water's edge, showing you how the other half lives. That was until it rained solidly for 3 days, which in turn caused landslips, which in turn broke the local electricity lines, which in turn meant the local lines company had to come out and repair them, which in turn meant an unannounced power cut for the afternoon, which meant no Wi-Fi at home, no phone at home, and I had to find somewhere with a signal for me to hotspot to my computer so I could talk to you. So I'm in the car, parked by next door to beautiful Lake Rotorua, which I would show you, except for the fact it's just started pouring with rain again. The tribulations of working remote, which is quite cool because today's theme is pretty relevant as we are exploring working from home today, just purely by coincidence. I guarantee I have. Oh, by the way, I got a puncture as well on the way into Rotorua to try and to do this show. Hi, Jane. Nice to see you. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for saying hello. So today's theme, working from home, very relevant for me. This is called working in your car. A quick recap before we get to that of Friday's episode, which was all about storage solutions. So if you remember, first we spoke to Tracy Eccles, who owns a company called Post Impressions, a Kiwi company, which has they design and also build here in New Zealand the storage boxes. And these storage boxes are for home deliveries, given the huge expansion in the number of people getting stuff delivered and the amount of deliveries. They have two products there, well, two main products. They're My Food Safe box, designed for all the food and meal kits which we now get delivered, and also the My Parcel Safe products for all the other courier deliveries to keep them safe and secure and out of the rain when they get delivered to your house. And I loved it because I get sick and tired of the you were out when we called notices from couriers and from New Zealand Post, and then you have to chase your parcel around the city for about 2 weeks until eventually it's redelivered, and I get sick of those cards appearing. So then we talked to Russell Kendon of Selwood. Now Selwood specializes in accessing to our greatest storage space, and that is our attics and our roofs. So what struck me here, so they basically organize your stairs, the ones which retract up and down from the roofs. And what struck me here is how phenomenally inexpensive these are. They're really smart, they're really user friendly, and they start at just $1,200-1,300 for the easier installs, and maybe up to $2,500 for the higher ceilings in the period villa type of installs, 3-meter ladders. And I think that includes installation as well. So I'm not entirely sure. So go to Selwood's website if you want some accurate estimates, but all the solutions which you need for storage, just chuck it all up in the roof. So to today's theme, as I mentioned just now, working from home or in your car if there's a power cut at home and you've got no phone signal. Now, this is something which I've genuinely been doing for the last couple of years. However, in these last few months, of course, a lot of us are getting used to working from home and certainly establishing this as a bit of a lifestyle. So what do you need to consider when you are setting up to work from home? So we thought we'd talk to Paul Creed. Now, Paul leads a team of renovation specialists for Refresh Renovations in Melbourne. Now, very sadly, at the moment, we're seeing soaring new cases of COVID-19 in that part of the world, and there is talk of some extreme lockdown measures potentially being introduced. But with this is the need to think about everything you need to consider if you're planning on working from home long term. Paul, which is what we're going to talk about first, though. A worrying time in Melbourne, or is it still pretty self-contained? This soaring COVID-19 rate.
Well, it's certainly worrying, but I guess more in the eastern suburbs. So we're out of the lockdown areas at the moment. So yeah, we're just keeping an eye on things at the moment, and hoping that it gets contained.
But from your perspective, are you seeing a surge in the number of people not just working from home, but talking about potentially building the space where they will continue to work from home into the future?
Yeah, we've certainly had quite a lot of inquiries of people looking to create a more of a permanent office space. I think a lot of companies now are opening up to that way of working, and I think it's going to be more of an accepted practice going into the future.
And I think a lot of us, certainly in our house, my wife sort of transformed our study area just the week before this, knowing that she was going to be working from home, and she did things I wish I'd done 2 years ago when I started working from home. But when you can actually plan this, let's think about the details. And first of all, where you go, what you have to think about the space that you're going to be using for your work from home office.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's important to initially think about, who is going to be using it. Is it just going to be one or two people looking to try and use the space? Obviously, it makes quite a difference in terms of how you lay it out and what space you need. Um, it might be a combined space where the children look to use it at part of the time, or in the evenings. So all of those factors need to be considered when you're looking to plan out effectively the sort of space you need.
Interesting you mentioned how, because of course you sort of assume that in these work areas only one person's ever going to use them at once. But if you've got a whole family, if you've got both of you are suddenly working from home, that
Yeah.
changes the game completely.
It does. If you're both trying to have a Zoom conference on either sides of the room, and then things can get a bit confusing, and so those sorts of things need to be taken into account. But obviously, you will be constrained about what available space you have in your house, and not everyone has kind of spare rooms just kicking about to be able to convert. So that's always something that's you might have to look at in terms of being a bit innovative. Is there a space under the stairs, or whether you need to look into you use the garage, or whether it is a bedroom that you can use in the short term to use for that space. And I guess looking at the longer term, is it going to be a permanent setup, in which case, or a temporary setup, in which case there could be other options.
Yeah, and of course, when you start thinking about transforming smaller spaces, this comes back to something we spoke about last week, which on Friday, about storage. Because
Yeah.
as I mentioned, my wife, the first thing she did is went off to storage box or whatever, and then shelving units appeared throughout the area we used to work in. Because what should we be thinking about if we are renovating a space and we have to consider the storage?
Yeah, well, you've certainly got to consider, I guess, the basic level. What sort of things you need to store. If you do have certain equipment for your job, or whether it is just a laptop, and then obviously they need to be factored in. But quite often, if you are using a space which was part of the family home, there might be books or general home storage that you need as well. Maybe you can't completely use that room for the office space, and it needs to be a bit of a combined use room. So those things all need to be factored in to ensure things are kind of stored away to have their place, to allow you to have the space that you can work freely. Yeah, and whether that is through clever cabinetry, some shelving, wall cabinets, drawers, and all sorts of different options that can be looked at. And by engaging some interior designers or cabinet makers, they can really help optimize the space.
Let's have a look at this image here and the one we saw before. These are major projects. Are these ones you've done in Melbourne?
Yes, yeah.
See, this is a major planning here. This isn't about hiding a computer under the stairs, is it? So, given this sort of space, what did you have to factor in about the positioning of the desks and the space around them?
Well, yeah, there's certainly some initial space planning that you need to carry out, and really looking at how the desks might work or be fit into the room, and you get that available space. But there are all sorts of elements that we considered in terms of what needed to be stored, and what lighting was required. So there we've got a lot of drawers, which are obviously handy. Shelving is very useful for things that you want to access easily. And it just helps optimize the use of all the wall space with the cabinets and the shelving there. There's lots of planning that went into that area.
You can tell, particularly, and you mentioned the lighting just now, because looking at the ceiling light there is something you'd never find in a home. Not well, you may have
No.
or a
Yeah.
light maybe in the kitchens in the 70s, but and then you've got that really lovely effect of the downlighting, just to give it a bit more of a softer sort of nice feel to the workspace.
Yeah, it's certainly very important, the lighting, if you're in a work environment, because if you're using maybe an old bedroom, and then that room quite traditionally would have just had a single pendant light for the room, and that's just not sufficient for the sort of lighting that you would need for in a work environment to reduce eye strain, ensure it's a balanced light throughout the room. So it's very important to consider the electrical works required, as part of the work, as part of the overall work, because if you are doing the renovation, then obviously doing the electrical works before you do the painting and plastering and anything else means
Yeah.
everything can be hidden away and tidy. You're not tripping over wires everywhere.
See, that's an interesting one, because certainly the images of the two sort of purpose renovated rooms into offices which we saw, you can see how the sort of something you probably never do is, you know, putting your plugs around at sort of a above desk height and that sort of thing. So obviously a heck of a lot of thought. Here you go, and there's various switches. Plus, of course, it's not just about plugs and light switches, is it, when it comes to your electrical requirements?
No, no. I guess often it depends what computer equipment you've got, but a lot of it might run off Wi-Fi, but other things might work better through Ethernet connections. So that can be factored in as well, and where your modem is and where your telephone sockets are, all of those need to be looked at to ensure that the orientation relative to the desks is appropriate, and it's relatively easy to reconfigure that if you do that at the right stage of the work. And that can really make a big difference to ensure that there aren't cables all over the desks and everything is tidy and neat, and it's an efficient space to work in.
Yeah, so you wouldn't recommend just chucking a computer on a hotspot in the front of the car like I've done today?
No, I don't think from an ergonomic perspective that's going to be very good for your long-term health. So yeah, I think
put it in one, because I'm having to lean across so that I can actually keep myself in shot without having too much of the window blowing the light out. And I know it's an ugly shot. I think there's a roof rack growing out of my head. But actually, you mentioned this ergonomic sort of aspect, because of course all our real offices, you know, the grown-up offices, the proper offices, this is what they've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years. So of course we know what we're talking about here. Are these things which people ask you to consider when you're beginning to draw up plans with them?
Yes, yeah, and certainly there's still a responsibility from an employer if their employees are working in a space which isn't very healthy for them, then there is still a responsibility to help ensure that space is an effective workspace. So things like stand-up desks can always be a good consideration, particularly if you've got back problems. You don't want to be hunched over your laptop for hours on end. So having a proper monitor and mouse and keyboard is very important, and that obviously needs to be considered to ensure you've got a big enough desk space, and you've got the right overall layout to ensure that it is comfortable for you to be working. And it will come back to who else perhaps has got to use the space, and maybe it's got to be adapted for a number of people. Everyone has different sizes and proportions, so adjustable monitors or stand-up desks, all those sorts of things should be considered to ensure that overall the workspace is optimized as best as it can be.
Yeah, because I guess that very few people could ever afford a space just for their sort of 9-to-5 living like this. As you say, it's going to become a teenager's workspace or something else. So yeah, you need a bit of a I love the fact here, actually, what's good about this shot here is that things like the clock and the plant have added slightly personal touches as well. I presume that's something else which you think a wee bit for the finishing touch.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's you want it to be an inviting space, so and it's still part of your home, so you want to still be able to put those personal touches, whether it is some shelving or pictures, or some shelving units like there are there to allow that, and it's still got to be a usable space, but that doesn't necessarily need to mean it's not a nice space to work. So or having some of those personal touches and some feature lighting perhaps as well can all add to really the atmosphere of the space.
That's a beautiful setup there. This is going back to the days of old when houses were so huge, you'd always have a massive study in them somewhere, because it must be quite difficult to convince people to actually maybe potentially give up a spare bedroom or to compromise their living area in order to actually create one of these spaces. Is that a struggle you've had? Do most people still try and say, actually, we just want to hide a space under the stairs or in a nook and cranny, or are people opening up to the idea of giving over a whole room to this?
Yeah, it really depends. I mean, everyone's circumstances are very different, and so we often do look around at what the different options are for the spaces in their home, and it could be using some say sort of space under the stairs, or something which can be converted still back into a bedroom. So whether that is, having the storage so everything can be sort of hidden away, or a desk can fold out from a wall, or there can be some innovative ideas that we can implement to try and make the space multi-purpose as possible, and so you're not fully losing that room.
Yeah, brilliant. Paul, thank you very much for giving us a bit of time and tuning in to us all the way over from Victoria in Australia. That's Paul Cree there from Refresh Renovations in Melbourne, with a few tips if you're thinking about setting up a longer term home workspace as such. Really interesting stuff. Thanks very much, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
So now this is normally when we have a look at the giveaways. We have got an incredible prize this week, which we want to tell you about. We're going to tell you about that after our next chat. But for now, a reminder that Tracy from Post Impressions, remember this is the My Food Storage, My Food Safe and My Parcel Safe, has offered us discounts on those two main products. And so we heard about these on Friday, but if you want to get $50 off the standard price of the My Food Safe, or $30 off the standard price of the parcel safe, the food safe or the parcel safe, My Food Safe or My Parcel Safe, then mention the Renovation and Outdoor Living show. If you do that before August the 3rd, then you'll get those discounts with Post Impressions, if you're interested in getting into those boxes. Now to a new feature. To celebrate the fact this is the first time we've ever done the Outdoor Living and Renovation show in the front of a car on a rainy day in the middle of nowhere. But at least the mobile hotspot's holding up. This is our new feature for the Outdoor Living and Renovation show. This is the Renovate Radar. So this is something which is on our radar that we love, a product which we particularly like the Nano Leaf Canvas. Right now, if you've never heard of this, we've got Frankie Orton who's going to be telling us about this. Now, Frankie is the editor for the Renovate Handbook, so she spends a lot of her time keeping her eye out for interesting ideas and solutions in the renovation and landscaping world, like the Nano Leaf. Frankie, just tell us what this is. Nano Leaf Canvas.
Yes, it's the Nano Leaf Canvas. It's the second version of they had a triangle nano leaf that came out to begin with. I think it was called the Aurora. So I think they're based in Canada, and they started because they wanted some smart home solutions. They really wanted to disrupt the lighting industry. And as you can see behind me, I've got all this color. I've got 9 panels. So that's what you get with the Nano Leaf Canvas. And it's actually really cool. It comes in a box this size, and you get these little linkers here. You can see they're quite flimsy. You can't really even see it. So yeah, that's what you get to link them all together, so then they can be colorful, and yeah, you can do lots of different colors and whatever.
So, but can you? So here we go. So you can set up how you want to configure them, depending on where you put them around.
They come with a little booklet, and you can choose. So you can see all of those there. I haven't done a very good job. It's on an angle, so yes.
Trust me, it looks great compared to where I'm presenting the show from today. This is showing our technical limitations all the way here. So that's really, we're looking at all these flashing colors now. So again, are you able? You mentioned how you can control the color, the sequencing and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So when I got it, the big question mark I had was, okay, great, I've stuck it on the wall. This is awesome. There's a bit of a process getting it on the wall. Like I said, it's not straight, but that's okay. And then I was thinking, okay, well, what do I do now? Do I tap it? Because I know I can touch it and it can do different things. So I was actually playing around with it for 2 hours, and I realized that I have an iPhone. So I had to get the Apple Home app to begin with, connect it, sync it with that.
Did you spend 2 hours trying to program it by touching the actual object, and then you realized
2 hours touching it, 2 hours playing around, figuring out this app and what I could do with it. I wanted to really understand it. So yeah, these are some setting up things that I I discovered. So yes, then I got this other app. So the app that you can just see on the screen here, that's the Nanoleaf app. So I got the Apple Home app, and then I got the Nanoleaf app. And it's got like dashboard, discover, explore, schedules. It's got all these things. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, like I don't even know where to begin. So this is where I spent my 2 hours. And honestly, there is so many like different features. Like, so you can see here, it says relaxing before bed and chill. So those are, I can click on that and it will change the colors to be of that. So people create these. I could create my own if I wanted to, like these Netflix and chill, which is like red and black to go with the logo. I can't remember what's this one. I can tell you what this one's on. This is on fireworks and firecrackers.
Cool.
So that's why it's going crazy. But if I was watching TV or if I wanted to play some music, this will actually go to the rhythm of it as well. So I had to try everything out. I had to try the music and the TV and then all the different colors, which ones I liked, turn the lights on, turn it off, change the brightness. I can even put schedules on it if I wanted to do that. There's just so many different possibilities. Like, I'm still getting my head around this app, so I don't know if that says much about me being technologically challenged, but
I think probably what it shows is that there's a huge the huge potential with it. Like that last picture we saw, that was obviously very carefully planned just to fit with the design, the decor of the room. I mean, look at that.
There's really cool. Some amazing things. Like, I'll try getting on another one. This one's Christmas lights, and this is actually perfect when it comes up. There you go. Got some Christmas lights behind me. So that actually probably sums up my feeling when I got this. My first initial thought was, yep, this is really cool. And then I was like, why do I need this? Like, I'm a bit confused. Like, why would you go out and buy this? And then I put it on, and then I was like, I actually had the feeling of when I was like a little kid and I saw the Christmas tree lights go on, and it gives you that excitement. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, great. Like, that's how it makes you feel. But then I looking at it, at the product a little bit more, like, I think if you're really tech savvy, you're a big kid at heart, you're just like, wow, cool, like this is the latest tech gear, gadget, you like lighting, and you want something new for your space, this is really the perfect addition, because you can tap it and interact with it. It really plays with your senses completely, and it's a good like statement piece in your room. Like, it can just be that art installation you need. Maybe you don't want to get a piece of art, you just want some lighting, and you can turn it off and on. And
what about cost though? Because as soon as I'm with you all the way, and as soon as you started mentioning it could be in place of an art installation, I started getting slightly sweaty about how much this is going to cost me.
Yes, well, one of the things I had also said was it'd be perfect for kids, because I can just imagine, like, maybe not too young, but I can imagine a kid being like, wow, like this is so exciting, I want one for my room. And then, yeah, the cost probably wouldn't be something you'd run up the door and buy it for your kid in a hurry. So it's 360 New Zealand dollars. That's just for the 9 panels. So if you would add on more, it's going to go up and up and up. I mean, one thing you could do if you really want to have a big party at home and you're loving a disco, you could do a whole wall of it. But I mean, that would come at a huge cost as well, because it's a lot of fun. Whether you'd use it all the time, I don't know, but yeah, it's something you'd have to have a love for tech and a love for just something different. It could be the perfect thing you need in your home office. You just have it in the background, and it does its thing, and you can change it to your mood.
So it's high. So it's a high quality, high cost sort of product. Just I did notice though with your one that so it's wired in. So it's plugged in, is it?
Yeah. So that's probably the other maybe like downside to it. You want to make sure that you probably position it correctly so you don't have the big cord hanging down. But yeah, so you just plug it in, and then you've just got to connect it all carefully. You have to actually do it on the wall as well. You can't just do it on a table and then stick it on. So.
Okay, yeah, I did see that in your list with your app, that it has to be, you can't pre-organize it, but a lot of fun. $360, and I did mention the fact that we might have an incredible giveaway this week, and I don't know whether it might have something to do with the Nanoleaf.
Yes, no, you're quite right. So the team at Nanoleaf have kindly said that they will give away a Nanoleaf canvas. So you could have one of these canvases like behind me. So all you need to do is tell us where you'd like to place the Nanoleaf in your home and what feature you're most looking forward to it. So like I said, you can touch it, you can play with the rhythms of it. You can actually speak to it if you've got like Alexa or Google Home or Google Assist, any of those type of things. I don't have that, but there's so many things you can do. I am yet to explore the true potential of it, and it would be exciting to see somebody else really enthusiastic to give this a go, because it is definitely a cool product. There's even gamers actually that put this behind them, and it goes with their gaming. So maybe somebody that's into that, they could be quite keen on it, or I don't know, you just may have a love for.
I do love the idea of it would be a great art installation in any room. That's what I think. As Jessica's just said, be amazing for our gaming in our lounge. Jessica liked it.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's definitely got a lot of possibilities. Some people put them in their bedroom. I've just got it in my living room, but you could also, put it in your home office, change it around. It's that statement thing. It's like, wow, what is that? And it is really bright right now, but if you did want it lighter, you can do that. Like literally, you can spend a whole day, hours and hours and hours just playing on this app on your phone like I did. It's a good way to pass time.
No, I think it looks great. Jane likes the idea of being calming in the bedroom. Connor just says he wants to win some. So Connor, you can win some. So just remind us again quickly, Frankie, how Connor can win one of these.
Cool. So you just need to tell us where you're going to place your Nanoleaf and what feature you're most looking forward to using.
And for those features, jump on the website, go on and Google up Nanoleaf and find out, because I had a good look at it just beforehand. Awesome, Frankie, thank you very much indeed for introducing us to the Nanoleaf canvas, our very first renovation radar, and we'll do it again soon.
Cool, thank you so much.
Awesome. Now jump in and enter that, guys, because that is being given away sometime soon. To our top 10 now, before we run out of time. Well, on Friday we were talking about weird phobias. The top 3, if you remember, were what were the top 3 weird phobias? Omphallophobia was the fear of the navel. Papophobia, the fear of popes, and turophobia, the fear of cheese. Well, today we're going to have a look for the Tuesday top 10, and this is inspired by the post-impression solutions for those home deliveries, is the top 10 home delivery fails. In 10th place, a delivery with a bang. Yes, well done. Good driving. Well, you certainly would have known that if they've arrived. That van has, yes, it has actually gone into the entire house. Number 9, the knock that must have been really quiet. UPS man, we're at home. Please knock loudly. Thanks, Mr. and Mrs. Courier. But no, the courier has left there. You were not home. Notice stuck to their notice saying we are here. Number 8, the super hidden parcel. Where is it? All I can see is a large pot. Oh, yes, there it is. It's just a glimpse of it behind the pot. Number 7, keeping the box safe from the rain. How very inventive. Well done, courier man or woman. Number 6. Well, it fits perfectly in here. Of course, I deeply suspect that would have been breakable as well. Number 5. Well, can you just leave the parcel under the bucket by the car, please? Excellent. Well hidden. Number 4. Look up. This courier, this delivery person must just love finding weird places to put the parcels and then leaving the instructions. Number 3, to the top 3 home delivery fails. Why did you not deliver this package? Well, it's very, very simple. There was a bear at the door. Number 2, please leave this under the doormat. Yes. I love the fact that the delivery person has gone to the lengths of leaving it under the doormat. And the number 1 home delivery fail is, and this is priceless. So this was left, and somebody, by the way, is inside, who has then gone onto Twitter to say, hey, UPS, your driver left this package under our doorknob like this, trapped us in our apartment, had to call maintenance to get out. I'll tell you what, that driver was having a bad day and knew exactly what they were doing, I imagine. There you go. Those are your top 10 home delivery fails. Now, thanks very much for bearing with me as I present this first ever renovation and outdoor living show from the car, in the rain, in Rotorua, because there's a power cut where I've been. Oh, by the way, I got a puncture as well on the way into Rotorua. So let's hope the power's back on by Friday. If it is, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.